for the suspect who shot and killed a woman yesterday. Happened in front of her job, Garden Fresh Foods at 12th and National. Police believe they are only looking for one shooter. The woman's identity has still not been publicly released. We are expecting to learn more about her today, though, as well.
Two Milwaukee nonprofits dedicated to keeping neighborhoods safe will be hosting the 68th Annual Crime Prevention Awards Luncheon today. Community members and law enforcement professionals who work to make our community a better place will be honored, and our own Shannon Sims is one of the honorees. The event starts at noon today at the Wisconsin Club downtown.
Growing tension this morning between the United States and many European countries. Elise Preston has more on that. Elise?
Well, Vince, this morning the president of the European Union is standing by bold statements that he believes the United States is now a threat to the EU. In a letter sent to the EU members, European Union President Donald Tusk put the White House in the same category as China, Russia, terrorism, and radical Islam. The letter also puts into question the last 70 years of American foreign policy and calls for a meeting later this week. This morning, the White House is not responding to the letter.
President Trump's pick for the U.S. Supreme Court will meet with Vice President Mike Pence today.
Neil Gorsuch is a judge in the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. The 49-year-old is actually the youngest nominee in 25 years. The president announced Gorsuch on live television last night from the White House. Gorsuch studied at Columbia, Harvard, and Oxford, and was a clerk for Supreme Court Justices Byron White and Anthony Kennedy.
As for Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark, he says he would be interested in a job with the Trump administration if asked. Clark was a strong advocate for the president during the campaign. He told radio station WNOV that he has not asked for a job, but that the two have talked. A new poll from a North Carolina polling company suggests Sheriff Clark's job approval numbers are so low he has almost no chance of being reelected next year. That's the determination for the public policy poll. It says 62% of Milwaukee County voters disapprove of the job Sheriff Clark is doing. 31% do approve. 1,200 county voters were polled. It's 5:03 and coming up next year on Live at Daybreak this morning.
Well, it is the first day of February, which means it is Black History Month. We're going to look at how organizations across our area are kicking off that recognition.
And coming up next, an agency capitalizing when President Trump sends out a tweet. The technology they're relying on and how this all works.
And let's take a live look outside as we get going on this Monday morning. This is a live picture coming to us from Port Washington, where you can see some snow still on the roads, but for the most part, wow, the roads are in great shape.
You're watching today's TMJ4 with Vince Petrano, Susan Kim, Storm Team 4 meteorologist Brian Goddard, and Time Saver Traffic with Tatiana Cash.
Welcome back, everyone. It's 5:07 this morning on your Wednesday morning, and temperatures today for your February 1st are going to be mild midday, and then it starts to get a little chilly. We'll have a mixture of sun and clouds. We'll call it partly cloudy. 32 for a high in Milwaukee, 30 Waukesha, 27 in Sheboygan, and 33 in Racine. Those temperatures, though, will be around the noon hour. Wind chills this morning are in the teens and 20s, not bad. But our warmest part of the day is going to be at the lunchtime. We're going to be right around 32 degrees. Winds are going to start picking up again, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour, and then temperatures begin to drop throughout the afternoon. We could already be in the lower 20s by around 5 o'clock. It gets cold tonight. We'll show you that coming up.
All right, well, be prepared, Brian. Big changes are coming to how 911 calls are answered for many in our community.
Ann Sterling is live at the Greendale Police Department this morning to explain what's going on. Hi, Ann.
A lot of changes to talk about here. Good morning to you, Vince. Let's start with Menominee Falls. If you live in Menominee Falls, the dispatch center is now moving to the Waukesha County Communications Center. So that means if a 911 call is placed, that is where the phone call is being answered. For people that live in Hales Corners, if you do place a 911 call, that call is now being answered right here in Greendale. So why are these changes being made? Well, let's get you the answer here. The bottom line, officials say, is to become more efficient and to save cash. So in just a couple of hours, the emergency service dispatch centers for both Greendale and Hales Corners are combining into one. When the Greendale Safety Center was built, the dispatch center was designed to accommodate dispatching for multiple dispatch centers. People in Hales Corners will still call their normal police and fire numbers, or if it's an emergency, you still call 911. Officials say the only difference here is where the phone is being answered, not where people are being dispatched. Their call will be directed to the new location right here at the Greendale Police Department. Now, for people who live in Menominee Falls, the Police, Fire, and EMS Dispatch Center, that is switching to the Waukesha County Communications Center. Officials say the transition will save taxpayers cash and also emergency response times. Now, for emergencies, residents in Menominee Falls, you still need to call 911, but for non-emergencies, that phone number has changed. If you'd like to jot that phone number down, you can log on to the Menominee Falls website or log on to tmj4.com after 6 o'clock this morning. We'll have that number posted for you. Reporting live, Ann Sterling, today's TMJ4.
All right, Ann, thank you. Almost 10 minutes after 5 here. It's Black History Month, and all across Milwaukee County, the community will be recognizing African Americans who played pivotal roles in our city's history.
Our Pete Zervakis joins us live with a preview of some of those events. Hi, Pete.
Well, Susan and Vince, let's start with our Milwaukee Bucks, who say all during this Black History Month they're going to honor African Americans who have impacted not just Milwaukee but also the world. The team's website says there will be various events and programs planned throughout this month. One of those being honored former NIT champion, NBA finalist, and Milwaukee Bucks basketball player Dick Garrett, who now works at the Bradley Center. Meanwhile, happening today at UWM, everyone can show up for free to the campus planetarium at 12:15 this afternoon for a talk on the night sky and stars as seen from different parts of Africa. There's also a celebration of African culture with music, dance, and indoor stargazing at 7 p.m. tonight. That is also at the UWM Planetarium. And this coming Friday, the play Welcome to Bronzeville hits the stage at 7 p.m. at the Marcus Center Todd Ware Theater. It's put on by First Stage and is about a young African-American man in 1950s Milwaukee. Tickets for that play are $15. Live in Milwaukee County, Pete Zervakis, today's TMJ4.
All right, Pete, looking ahead this morning, the widow of Orlando nightclub gunman Omar Mateen is expected in court today.
Noor Salman was arrested 2 weeks ago because prosecutors allege that she knew her husband had planned last June's mass shooting at the Pulse nightclub. Prosecutors want her extradited to Florida, where the case is being prosecuted.
The Federal Reserve will announce its latest decision on whether to increase a key interest rate. It'll be the Fed's first policy decision since President Trump took office. Experts believe that they'll leave the interest rates unchanged, while the central bank waits for the president to be a little bit more clear about his economic policy.
There's something to be said about Donald Trump's effect on the market.
Now, when the president criticized General Motors, for example, for making cruise models in Mexico on Twitter, the brand's stock immediately fell.
And then the same thing happened to Boeing shares when Trump complained about the cost of building a new Air Force One. That happened back in December.
Marketing and advertising firm T3 noticed a pattern. and created an automated software that follows the president's Twitter account based off of keywords like cancel or no. The software then automatically shorts the company's stock.
It starts with borrowing a stock when you have some sort of inclination, some idea that the stock's going to drop. So you borrow the stock and you immediately sell it. At that point, you wait for the stock to drop. You then buy, you return the stock you borrowed, and you are able to profit from the difference.
Never understood how that works, but then again, that's why they're really smart people who work in
And they can make a
the
lot of money.
economic sector. Right. Still ahead this morning on Live at Daybreak.
Walmart is taking a major shot at Amazon. How that move could impact the way we all shop.
Plus, Apple getting a lot of buzz, and it's not for a new iPhone or computer. We're going to show you this latest creation in the heart of Silicon Valley. Seen a lot of fog around here lately. Fortunately, have avoided situations like this. We go to California, 50 cars involved in a foggy day pileup. Officials think there were actually several smaller accidents, not just one big one. There were at least 10 reports of injuries, but all minor.
In Michigan, heavy wet snow made travel treacherous for drivers who ventured out on the roads. Look at these pictures from yesterday. The forecast for today, cloudy and a high temperature of 31 degrees.
And what a difference just a few years makes. Remember this? This is video that we dug up from the blizzard of 2011. Well, southeast Wisconsin, actually much of the Midwest, got dumped on. The Packers were in Texas getting ready for the Super Bowl.
I remember this storm very clearly.
You all were here and I was there.
Yes.
Yeah, we were here. You got snow as well.
Well, we were getting the ice storm in Texas that made it absolutely miserable.
Right.
I know I kept saying it's not what you guys were dealing with up here, but that wasn't real pleasant in Texas either.
You know
I
what?
still don't have any tears for that, Brian, considering what we were dealing with at the same time.
But I would take a blizzard over an ice storm any day, and especially in Dallas when nothing is like together. You got to drive everywhere in Dallas, so.
Yes, it was ugly.
It was like 28
feel badly
inches.
for me.
I think it was like 28 inches of snow in Kenosha. We feel so bad for you. 31 degrees this morning, though, so things are completely different than it was just a few years ago. 31 for February 1st, but things are going to be changing. We'll get up to around 32 between now and noon, so not a big warm-up. And then the colder air starts to move in here. And it's not going to be a drastic drop, but throughout the afternoon, we're going to drop into the 20s. Winds are going to be picking up 10 to 20 miles per hour, so wind chills this afternoon will be be in the teens. So enjoy the nice mild conditions this morning because it's going to start to get colder. A few flurries out there this morning as well. We had a little dusting of snow overnight in some locations, and you can still see a mixture of clouds with that clearing sky. So for right now in Milwaukee, it's 31 degrees, warm, 30 in Shorewood, 28 in West Dallas. These are our typical high temperatures, and a westerly wind at 7. That wind is only between 5 and 10. It has come way down from those gusts yesterday, but it will pick up once again this afternoon. Wind chills for the most part in the lower 20s. A couple of spots from Sheboygan over to Green Lake and the Dells are in the teens right now. Walworth County waking up to upper 20s. It's 28 in Lake Geneva and Delavan. Darien's at 28 and East Troy checking in at 27 degrees. Wind chills in the lower 20s. This afternoon getting up to around 32, 33 degrees at the noon hour, and then this afternoon starting to drop once again with that northwesterly wind at 10 to 20. So here's the timeline. You can see the temperatures kind of holding steady right around 32 degrees around the noon hour and then beginning to drop. By 5 o'clock we'll be at 25 degrees. Wind chills will be in the teens. Pretty quiet around the state today. Once again, just a few flurries this morning, and then we're going to see more sunshine like we did yesterday afternoon, a little on the breezy side. Then overnight tonight, clear and cold. Wind chills will be below 0. And then for tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. Once again, quiet driving conditions around the state and for the Midwest for that matter. And it will remain quiet through Saturday evening. Temperatures tonight, here we go, getting back to reality. 3 in Fond du Lac, 5 in Watertown, 10 in Burlington and Lake Geneva. And tomorrow afternoon, upper teens to lower 20s with wind chills close to 0 all day long. So 32 degrees by noon today, and then the temperature begins to drop. 10 overnight tonight, 20 for Thursday and Friday. All these days, though, enjoying some sunshine. It'll be sunny early on Saturday, some snow late afternoon to the evening, maybe an inch or two, some flurries on Sunday, and here comes a warming trend. Monday, 37, Tuesday, a wintry mix, and highs near 40. Time saver traffic this morning. Everything is green. That's good news. No accidents to report, no any incidents. 9 minutes from Good Hope to the Zoo. Moreland to Marquette's at 10 and Grafton to Marquette at 19.
All right, thanks, Brian. It's 5:18, and today's money, the stakes have been raised in the war between two shopping giants. Okay, Walmart is making a major play against rival Amazon.
And they're offering now free 2-day shipping to all customers on more than 2 million products after a minimum purchase of $35. And they're doing it without charging a membership fee. That's how Amazon does things.
Free shipping is very important to shoppers. That is one of the highest, if not number 1 reasons that consumers will decide not to go through with a purchase.
Still, Walmart has a long way to go. Amazon hit $107 billion in internet sales in 2015. Walmart's internet sales just a paltry $14 billion.
It's 5:19. Some bad news coming for workers at Northwestern Mutual. According to the Milwaukee Business Journal, the company's CEO told employees to plan for hundreds of layoffs between now and the end of March. The layoffs were first announced last fall, all while the company is building that new $450 million skyscraper near the Milwaukee lakefront.
Drone video of Apple Computer's new campus surfaced, giving us a look into the future of the tech giant. Apple Campus 2 has been under construction since 2013. It's expected to be ready to move into by next year. The central building, a 4-story ring, which was shaped to look like a spaceship. Apple says it's looking to make the campus completely sustainable on renewable energy.
What if you have to get to the other side?
Of the ring?
Yeah.
They've thought of that. Somebody's thought of that. They probably have, like, they can beam you over. We just don't know about it yet.
Right.
EAA AirVenture already has some exciting guests lined up for this July's event. The chance to meet more astronauts.
And they're from the Apollo missions that put humans on the moon for the first time. So this year's EAA AirVenture is commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Apollo program. So, of course, one name that might sound familiar to all of us, Jim Lovell. He grew up in Milwaukee before moving on to visit the moon. But he still loves Milwaukee.
Not in direct succession.
Right,
Like he grew up here and then he went right to the moon.
Up next on Live at Daybreak on today's TMJ4.
The lesson that kids at one middle school will never forget, and their principal, who's getting a lot of the credit.
Also, when and where couples can get away with having a free wedding. And it has something to do with beer.
More news now. 12-year-old Jackson Johnston says he was bullied after shaving his head, and he did it in support of his grandfather who's battling cancer. In a show of solidarity, Jackson's principal asked him to buzz his head in front of the entire school.
So everybody's got some kind of battle that they're fighting, and so the message really is just support one another.
Just don't judge a book by its cover, because there could be a deeper story in it.
524 now. Milwaukee Public Schools giving students a unique lesson in history. Many 6th and 7th graders will see the movie Hidden Figures today. That film highlights 3 African-American women who made unprecedented contributions to the U.S. space program. There is also a fundraising event this morning that's tied to the movie. It's at Marcus Theater in Brookfield, and the hope is to raise $155,000 so that 10,000 more students get the chance to see it.
Lakefront Brewery is giving couples something to love on Valentine's Day: free weddings and vow renewals. Here are the details. You got to be 21 years old at least. You have to have a marriage license. Lakefront will then provide 2 ordained officiants. As for the wedding, they'll also include two free pints during the ceremony, a 6-pack, and 2 T-shirts to take home in memory of the happy day.
Sounds like a good day.
Babe, don't worry, I got it all taken care of.
And people with the Milwaukee County Parks and Sprecher Brewery announced the return of the traveling beer gardens for the 4th year. Now, we told you first yesterday on Live at Daybreak that the schedule would be coming out, so we now know that it will park at Greenfield Park on May 17th, and then there are 5 new locations on the tour this year. You can check out the full schedule at tmj4.com. It's 5:25. Coming up next on Live at Daybreak.
The clock is ticking. Someone in Wisconsin is a millionaire and apparently does not know it. The deadline fast approaching for this lottery winner.
Also, a wake-up call for millions, the dangers behind the over-the-counter sleeping aids that a lot of people don't know about.
And at 5:25 here on today's TMJ4, we'll check in again. Our tower camera in Washington County. Snow sticking around, but it's going to warm up a little bit today. Brian Goddard has our storm team forecast just ahead.
right now from Milwaukee, this is today's TMJ4, live at daybreak.
If you live in Hales Corners and call 911 for police or an ambulance, that call is now being answered somewhere else. I'm Ann Sterling. We'll tell you why next.
Plus, how police are this morning working to find the person behind a threat against the Jewish Community Center in Whitefish Bay.
And later, show of unity.
Women across the world, all of different faiths, are wearing headscarves and posting their picture online. How that movement started. And good morning, everybody. You are watching Live at Daybreak on today's TMJ4. It's a new month. I'm Susan Kim.
And I'm Vince Petrano. I'll let you figure out which one that is on your own. Let's start with weather and traffic together. Brian Goddard with our Storm Team forecast.
You tell him, Brian.
All right.
Break the news.
February? Yes. One more month of meteorological winter, and it's a short month. We can handle this. 32 degrees is the temperature this afternoon. I should say probably around the noon hour today in Milwaukee before temperatures start to drop. We'll have a mixture of sun and clouds. 27 in Sheboygan, 30 Waukesha, and 33 in Racine. We've had a little dusting of snow in some locations overnight, just some flurries moving on through, and we'll continue to see some flurries in the morning commute. And you can see back off to the west, still some very, very light snow back around La Crosse. Otherwise, it's a mild start to your February 1st. Temperatures in the mid to upper 20s to lower 30s. It's 30 in West Bend as well as Racine. You can see the winds between 5 and 10. They've come down after yesterday's gusts close to 30 miles per hour. Now going into work this morning, partly cloudy. You'll see a few flurries and 29 degrees. We'll get up to around 32 at the lunch hour. And then as you're going home this afternoon, temperatures starting to cool, 25 degrees with wind chills in the teens. Driving into work this morning, you may see a few flakes of snow in your headlights. Otherwise, the roads are in great shape, and the times are proving that. Hale to the Zoos at 4 minutes, 7 miles to Mitchell's 9, and Marquette to Moreland at 10.
All right, Brian, thank you. 5:30 here on today's TMJ4. Hoping for a quiet day this morning at the Jewish Community Center and Day School in Whitefish Bay.
Yeah, students and staff were rushed out yesterday morning because of a threat. Our Pete Zervakis is live there this morning as we look ahead to today. Pete, good morning.
Well, Susan and Vince, it'll be a return to normal, hopefully, here in Whitefish Bay this morning after a scary Tuesday, as you mentioned, at the Jewish Community Center as parents rushed over to pick up their kids following that threat being phoned in. One of them told today's TMJ4 she immediately feared for the worst, thinking of school attacks like at Sandy Hook, knowing those could happen anywhere. But staff here at the Jewish Community Center stayed calm. They say they were ready for the threat when it was called in yesterday afternoon, and that's because such threats are becoming a problem all across the country. Just yesterday, Jewish centers in Colorado, California, and New York were also targeted. Here in Whitefish Bay, police, the FBI, and the Sheriff's Department all arrived at JCC following the threat to search the facility. Police are now looking at phone records to try and trace the person who phoned it in. Live in Whitefish Bay, Pete Zervakis, today's TMJ4.
Pete, thank you. It's 5:32 happening today as well. A Waukesha County bus driver accused of driving students while impaired will be back in court. Penny Wolf faces charges of OWI, drug possession, and carrying a gun on school grounds. Police say Wolf was driving erratically and dropped students off late to school at Swanson Elementary. Some parents say they will find another way now to get their kids to school.
5:32, a social media campaign today to fight discrimination and prejudice against Muslim women. Elise Preston has that. Hi, Elise.
Hi, Vince. Well, today is World Hijab Day. Women all over the world and of different faiths are encouraged to cover their heads for the day in solidarity with Muslim women around the world. Now, the mission is using the hashtag #IStandForHijab. Take a look at the Twitter feed right now. This is the 5th annual year, but this morning many are saying this year is more important than ever in light of the newly ordered travel ban. Organizers say this movement is also crucial because so many women across the globe are being targeted, harassed, and banned from wearing their hijabs. Last year, thousands from 150 countries took part in World Hijab Day. Organizers hope many more participate today.
Well, it looks like the Milwaukee area will not be getting a visit from President Donald Trump this week. CNN reports that the president was supposed to hold an event at a Harley-Davidson facility, but those plans were dropped due to the threat of protests. Harley-Davidson wouldn't say much about it, only telling today's TMJ4 that there was never a visit scheduled. We followed up and asked whether there had been discussions about planning a visit, and the spokesperson would not comment. The vice president will meet today with the man President Trump wants to be the next Supreme Court justice. Judge Neil Gorsuch has been nominated to fill the seat left vacant by the late Justice Antonin Scalia. The Vice President in Gorsuch will be joined by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Meanwhile, a vote on the president's pick for Attorney General has been delayed. Might get to it today. The Senate Judiciary Committee ran out of time after Democrats stalled that vote yesterday.
It's 5:34. The University of Wisconsin says more students, staff, and faculty are affected by President Trump's travel ban than originally thought. 115 people on the Madison campus alone are impacted. That is up from the original estimate that we heard of 88. Now, UW system officials are still working to figure out how many students will be impacted throughout the system. It is moving day in Hales Corners. The emergency services dispatch centers for the village of Hales Corners is moving to Greendale. And that's just part of the changes that will be happening today.
Yeah, Ann Sterling is live at the Greendale Police Department this morning to sort it out for us. Hi, Ann.
Hey, good morning to you, Vince. The dispatch centers right here in Greendale the Hales Corner Dispatch Center, I should say, has already moved into the Greendale Dispatch Center. I just spoke to the sergeant, and he said it happened while we were all sleeping at midnight. The transition went smoothly. So yes, moving day happened while most of us were sleeping. So why did the move happen in the first place? Officials say to become more efficient and to save taxpayers cash. Here's what we know. When the Greendale Safety Center was built, the dispatch center was designed to accommodate dispatching for multiple dispatch centers. Over the last 5 years, Greendale has updated its 911 system, phone system, and is currently in the process of updating its radio system. Now, each of these updates were designed to accommodate multiple agencies. Over the last 2 years, the villages of Greendale and also Hales Corners put all of this to the test. Both share Greendale's ladder fire truck and also share training sources. People in Hales Corner, if you need to call 911 for a police officer or for an ambulance or any type of emergency, you still call 911. That phone call is just being answered somewhere differently. The dispatch center, it's being dispatched at its current location, so this will not affect call times at all, officials say. Reporting live, Ann Sterling, today's TMJ4.
And the next time you're in Menominee Falls and place a 911 call, that will be rerouted to Waukesha County. The police, fire, or EMS dispatch services will now come from the County Communications Center, and this changeover is set to happen in about an hour and a half. They say service will not be disrupted this morning. Well, coming up here on Live at Daybreak.
Sleep aid safety, why there's a good chance you're making a mistake when some people pop those pills before bed, and why their health could be at risk because of it.
Plus, the surprising sign that's selling out and decorating more yards in Madison. More Live at Daybreak next on today's TMJ4.
And let's take a live look outside as we get going. It is Wednesday, February 1st.
Good morning, everyone. 5:39 on your Wednesday morning. It's a warm start to the day. We've had some flurries overnight, just a dusting of accumulation on some of the side streets in some of the areas. 31 degrees as you're waking up. That gusty wind from yesterday has died down, but it's going to pick back up again this afternoon, anywhere from about 10 to 20 miles per hour, maybe a few higher gusts than that. We'll have some clouds, a few flurries off and on this morning, and your high temperature of 32 will be at noon, and then temperatures slowly begin to drop this afternoon as that colder air begins to filter in. Wind chills this morning are in the 20s, a couple of spots in the teens to the north, like 18 in Fond du Lac. Quiet today, despite a few clouds and a few flurries. Most of the day will have plenty of sunshine. So for today, a high of 32 early and then dropping into the 20s. Tonight, here comes the cold. 10 degrees in Milwaukee, wind chills 0 to 5 below across the area. And then tomorrow, it'll be sunny, but it's going to be breezy and chilly with a high of 20.
Brian, thank you. It's 5:40 in today's Health, a wake-up call about many of those over-the-counter sleep aids that millions of people do take before going to bed.
They say now most over-the-counter sleep medicines contain diphenhydramine, which is actually an allergy medication that happens to also make people sleepy. It's okay to take for a couple of weeks, but doctors say potentially dangerous if you take it much longer. And in a statement, the Consumer Healthcare Products Association said these drugs are approved by the FDA to treat occasional sleeplessness, not long-term sleep disorders or insomnia.
Parents, another reason to encourage kids to get up and move. A new study from Norway found that children who were active had fewer symptoms of depression even 2 years later than their peers who did not get up and go. Researchers now want to see if exercise may actually be an effective treatment for children who already have anxiety or depression.
Go outside, right? A new type of computer could help people who are completely paralyzed and unable to communicate.
So here's what researchers are doing. They're using a brain-computer interface to measure the blood oxygen and electrical activity of 4 people who cannot move or speak. The participants were asked simple questions that required just a yes or no answer. Using their thoughts alone, the patients were able to answer personal questions. 5:41 coming up next on Live at Daybreak on today's TMJ4.
The Packers season, well, yes, it is over, but fans certainly like the team year-round when the annual Packers tailgate tour kicks off and the stops the team is planning to make.
And then you might want to check your Powerball ticket. Someone is the owner of $1 million ticket and has just a few short hours to claim that prize.
Let's take a look at this morning's winning lottery numbers. More news now. A team that you'll never actually see on the field is working furiously ahead of Super Bowl 51.
Yeah, these men and women use their skills to make Super Bowl footballs. Since 1955, every football used by the NFL has come from one place, the Wilson factory in Ada, Ohio.
It's truly a team effort from where we start cutting the leather out to where we stamp it, the lace it, bladder and sewing it, the whole operations. And everybody's one way or another have had their hand involved in making the best football out there.
And to top it all off, orders are being placed from around the world to have the custom football. Overall, 6,000 footballs have been made for the game itself.
Who's my hero? It's a great question. Well, I think my dad is my hero because he's someone that I look up to every day. And my dad.
Man, Brady is emotional this week. What is going on with that cat? Nice moment in the middle of all the pomp and circumstance of Super Bowl week. That's New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady answering countless questions during Super Bowl opening night, as they brand it now, when a 7-year-old asked him who his hero was.
Packers Extra now, and the team has released its annual tailgate tour schedule for fans. That tour will be April 4th through the 8th and will make stops in Medford, Ashland, Rhinelander, and then 2 stops in Michigan.
Houghton.
Each tailgate costs $30, and then the money will support a nonprofit in each of those cities. Have they ever gone to another state before?
I don't remember if that tour went.
UP is a big Packer country, though.
Right, but have they
Absolutely,
actually ever made it there? I was trying to think, I don't remember.
It's a long journey from Green Bay.
When is that? That's spring?
April.
April 4th.
There's still going to be snow in Houghton.
Oh, sure there will
Like
be.
for real,
Oh,
right?
yes, absolutely.
All right, that's
Okay,
interesting. How's
anybody
the
else want
weather?
to know anything else about Houghton, Michigan? They have lots of snow. It's right on Lake Superior. It's lovely.
Any time of the year. Good morning, everyone. We had a dusting of snow overnight as well. Once again, just some flurries here and there, but it's mild. Temperature 31 degrees. The wind has died down. It was howling yesterday. It's between 5 and 10 right now. 32 degrees will be your high temperature. That's at the noon hour. And then for your February 1st, can you believe it? Where did January go? It's gone. The temperatures will be slowly dropping this afternoon after a high of 32 at the lunch hour. A few clouds, a little bit of clearing outside, and a few flurries and headlights as folks are driving in. You can see more flurries back off to the west out towards La Crosse. But like yesterday, we'll have sunshine. We'll get some clouds. We'll have some sunshine. It's going to be a decent day. Temperature 30 degrees in Shorewood, also in South Milwaukee, 29 in West Dallas, as well as Wauwatosa. Wind speed between 5 and 15. The winds are starting to pick up just a little bit now, and they will be 10 to 20 for most of the day. Could even see a few higher gusts than that at times. Wind chills. Teens like 18 in Fond du Lac, 15 in Sheboygan, 19 in Waukesha, otherwise lower 20s elsewhere around the area. Ozaukee County this morning, waking up to 27 in Belgium, 28 Saukville, as well as Mequon. That westerly wind is at 10. That's keeping those wind chills right around 20 degrees. And this afternoon, temperatures actually dropping. We will get around that 30-degree mark for the lunch hour, and then as you get into the afternoon, mid-20s. And when you have that wind of 20 miles per hour, wind chills today will be into the low to mid-teens throughout the afternoon. So once again here in Milwaukee, a mixture of sun and clouds, a few flurries this morning. 32 degrees around the lunch hour, and then temperatures begin to drop. Will be 29 by 3 o'clock and already 25 by 5 o'clock. It's going to be chilly. If you're doing some traveling around the state or heading up to Houghton, seems like it's going to be a great place. We have clear conditions across the area. We'll have just a few flurries this morning, otherwise quiet and great for traveling. Tonight, clearing cold. The wind is going to have a nasty bite. There could be wind chills to 15 below up in the Northwoods overnight tonight. And then for tomorrow, another sunny day, still breezy and chilly out there. It seems like when we get the sunny days, it's cold. The cloudy days are warm, and tonight will be cold. 6 in Port, 4 in Beaver Dam, 8 in Whitewater, and 10 in Burlington. Wind chills to 10 below zero in the inland areas. And then tomorrow, teens to lower 20s, and with that wind chills will be close to zero throughout the afternoon. 32 midday today, and then dropping slowly this afternoon down to 10 degrees tonight. 20 tomorrow, 20 on Friday, and breezy. And we look at a lot of sunshine. Saturday starts off sunny, then snow by late afternoon, maybe an inch or two. Some flurries and 34 on Sunday, and then a warm up next week with our favorite wintry mix coming back for Tuesday. Time saver traffic this morning, 6 minutes from Marquette to the zoo, 10 minutes from Marquette to Brown Deer, and 14 minutes, 7 Mile to Marquette. No reports of any accidents. The roads are in excellent shape.
Sounds good. It's 5:50. More news now. Some welcoming signs are starting to pop up in yards around Madison. The message is spread through 3 languages, Spanish, English, and Arabic. And it reads, quote, "No matter where you are from, we're glad you're our neighbor," end quote. They went on the market actually in December, but since the president's executive order on immigration, sales of those signs have spiked. 100 were sold just this past week. The Wisconsin woman who created the famous Minneapolis bronze statue of Mary Tyler Moore tossing her hat, you see it right here, she has died. Gwendolyn Gillen died on Friday. She was living in a senior home in Madison and was 76 years old. A $1 million Powerball winning ticket that was sold in Madison last August is still floating around somewhere. Lottery winners have 180 days to actually claim that prize money after their numbers are drawn, giving the ticket holder until tomorrow. So if you want to check, you have one lying around. The winning numbers were 20, 33, 36, 47, and 52, and the Powerball was 12.
Bingo!
You wish.
No, scooter maker Vespa is now getting into the robot business. The Italian company is launching a Boston-based division that'll call it Piaggio Fast Forward. Its first creation will be Gita, and is a robot designed to carry groceries or other items. No word on when Gita will be available for purchase or how much it'll be costing, but Gita will be tested at businesses later this year. It's 5:51 and coming up next here on Live at Daybreak this morning.
Shaking things up the unique and fun way one teacher is personalizing the classroom experience there for his students.
And let's take a look at tonight's primetime lineup here at 6:30. We have the Now. 7 o'clock, Law & Order SVU. Chicago PD is on at 9 tonight, and then more local news on Live at 10.
All right, want to burn some extra calories? How about a brisk 86-story run to the top of the Empire State Building in New York? The 40th annual Empire State Building run-up happens tonight. 256 lucky people got chosen out of thousands of people who applied. Each runner will have to make it up 1,600 individual steps to finish. And I don't know, it'd probably burn your thighs. But we have our own We have our own
Yeah,
walk
we go to
or
the
run.
top of the U.S. Bank building.
That's right, with Brian Goddard.
The first Wisconsin building, if you're old school.
Yeah. Forget the simple hello and taking attendance. One North Carolina teacher has a unique way of greeting his students every day.
So this guy's name is Barry White Jr., best name ever, who teaches 5th grade literacy at Charlotte Elementary School. White says he wants his students to be excited about school, so his effort to bring joy and build trust with his students, White began creating individual handshakes for everyone. He says the idea is pretty simple. You make every child feel special. I remember all those, though.
How does he remember those? And everyone's late to class.
Watch that all afternoon.
Because they're saying hello to the teacher.
At some point, we have to get to the learning.
Much more is happening at 6 o'clock on Live at Daybreak.
Including Don Tre's documentary, where this new film highlighting one of Milwaukee's most controversial police shootings will be showcased later this year.
Also, Super Bowl Sunday like you've never seen it before. The new technology giving folks a unique experience right from the comfort of their couch.
It's the nerve center or the brain when you call 911. So why are 2 dispatch centers moving today? I'm Ann Sterling. That answer coming up.
It's been a relatively quiet morning, incident-free, which is good news, but later on tonight I'll let you know about the slowdowns happening. Brian?
And those drive in, they're going to see some snowflakes in their headlights, if I can speak this morning. Just a few flurries out there this morning. Otherwise, colder air getting ready to move in. When it arrives and how cold it'll be coming up.
Right now, from Milwaukee, this is today's TMJ4, live at daybreak.
Now at 6, why the president of the European Union is now putting America in the same category as Russia.
And then a deadly crash that killed 2 people and landed another in handcuffs. what police found in the car that may have caused the passenger to take off.
And then let's take a live look outside as we get going on this Wednesday morning, looking at downtown Milwaukee, and the skies are clear to get you started. And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Live at Daybreak on this February 1st. I'm Susan Kim.
And I'm Vince Petrano. We'll start you off with your weather and traffic together. And meteorologist Brian Goddard presiding over a relatively quiet start.
For February, it's quiet. It's not bad out there. It's warm. We had just a little bit of light snow last evening, so there's a dusting in some locations on the roadways. And we can see a few flurries as you're driving in this morning as well. And there's a little bit more flurry action back out towards La Crosse. So we'll constantly see the sun clouds like we did yesterday. But at least we're going to see some sunshine once again. But look at these temps. Already 32 degrees here in Milwaukee, 29 in Racine, 24 in Watertown, and 26 in Fond du Lac. The wind, after being so gusty yesterday, has diminished, but it's starting to pick up again. Now it's between 5 and 15, and it'll get breezy this afternoon. 29 degrees on your way into work, partly cloudy, a few flurries, and then after a high of 32 midday today, and currently your temperature 25 degrees as you're heading home with wind chills in the teens. It's going to get cold tonight. Okay, the roads have been quiet for the morning. How are they now?
I do not bring the chaos today.
Good.
It is still calm out there on the roadways this morning. Good morning. Keeping an eye right now on your drive times. All green still. Hail to the zoo at 5 minutes. Marquette to Moreland and Moreland to Marquette, both at 10-minute commutes. Traffic is relatively still light this morning, so you will have a little bit of company, but not a ton. I want to give you a heads up when it comes to overnight closures here. There's 3 lanes coming from the zoo interchange going eastbound to 92nd Street Bridge. There will be a closure of 1 lane starting from 9:30 tonight until midnight. So planned around 9 o'clock, you're going to see some barrels and going to be a little bit of congestion from 3 to 2 lanes. But then from midnight until 5:30, it's going to shift from the left lane to the right lane. So your best bet is to stay in the middle. You do not need an alternate route, but expect some congestion again starting as early as 9 o'clock and going until 5:30 because of construction starting from the zoo interchange on I-94 eastbound all the way to the 92nd Street Bridge. Coming up, I'm going to have some daytime closures in Waukesha County that will definitely impact your commute.
It's 6:01. There's some tension this morning between the U.S. and many European countries. Elise Preston has what's happening right now. Elise?
Well, Susan, this morning, the president of the European Union is standing by bold statements that he believes the United States is now a threat to the EU. In a letter sent to the EU members, European Union President Donald Tusk put the White House in the same category as China, Russia, terrorism, and radical Islam. The letter also puts into question the last 70 years of American foreign policy and calls for a meeting later this week. This morning, the White House is not responding to the letter.
Big changes are coming to how 911 calls are answered for many people in our community.
Ann Sterling is live in Greendale this morning at the police department to talk about what's going on. Ann?
Hey, good morning to Vince. Menominee Falls, that 911 call is now being answered at Waukesha County Communications Center. In Hales Corner, if you call 911, that call is now being answered right here in Greendale. I just spoke to the police here in Greendale. The transition here has already started. I can tell you that it started at midnight last night. So why are these centers moving? The answer is to become, bottom line, officials say, become more.
All right, we're going to try to get back to Ann when we can get her technical issues straightened out there. Meanwhile, this morning, 2 people dead, another in custody after a deadly car crash that happened late last night. We're talking about 32nd and Hampton, where police said the car was speeding and then crashed into a pillar. One of the passengers took off running from the scene, armed with a gun. He was later arrested by police. Police also found another handgun and drugs in the car.
We are expecting more information today about the woman shot dead outside of her place of employment on Milwaukee's South Side. Police say the 53-year-old was walking into Garden Fresh Foods, which is at 12th and National. That's where she had worked for a long time. Police are looking for the shooter still this morning. If you do have any information, you are asked to call Milwaukee Police.
Well, those dedicated to keeping Milwaukee neighborhoods safe are being honored today. They'll be recognized at the 68th Annual Crime Prevention Awards Luncheon. The award recipients include community members, city leaders, and law enforcement. Our own Shannon Sims was actually one of the nominees. The event starts at noon at the Wisconsin Club. A family of Dontre Hamilton and their quest for more answers is being showcased at this year's South by Southwest Film Festival. Hamilton was shot and killed by a former